Hey, and welcome to my very first YouTube video. That is so crazy for me to say out loud because I do feel like this has been such a long time coming for me. A little bit about me. My name is Kim, and I've been creating short form recipe and cooking content for about 3 years now. And obviously today I am taking the plunge and creating my very first long form YouTube video, which is super exciting. And for me, I personally just love learning about other people's experiences in the content creator space. Everyone's journey is, so unique and different. And I think that we can just all learn from each other. And so for my very first video, I thought it would be fun to tell you a little bit about my journey as a content creator so far and talk about why I ultimately decided to take the plunge into long form content. Taking it back to the beginning, I posted my very first TikTok video in spring of 2021, and it was a cooking recipe style video. I'm not really sure what compelled me to post the TikTok. I just absolutely love watching that type of content. And of course, I really enjoy cooking and food, so I kind of just said, why not? And I didn't have any fancy lighting or even a tripod at the time. I was just using my phone to make these short little cooking videos. And something kind of interesting about this time is that for my very first year of posting videos, TikTok and Instagram Reels, I kept my content a secret from almost everybody I know. My boyfriend Adam knew about it, and I think I told my parents at one point, so they knew about it. But other than that, I did not tell a soul. And the reason I got away with that is because I didn't show my face at all on any of my content for the first little while. It was mostly just focused on the food and the recipes. I also didn't have voiceovers in the beginning, so it was a very anonymized situation. And looking back at the reason for why I did it that way, I mean, the hard truth is that I was so afraid of being judged. I definitely was worried about what people thought. I don't know, or I didn't know anybody at the time who was, really like posting that type of content to social media. I had the worry about people at work finding out and what they were going to think about it. So just a lot of fears about showing myself and people finding out, which I think is common for a lot of people starting out. It is really scary putting your face out there, 100%. So that's what worked for me at the time. That's what I was comfortable with. Looking back, if I were to do it again, I would definitely push myself to get out of that comfort zone a little bit earlier, which is so much easier said than done. I would say that I am somebody who is a little bit camera shy. I'm a little bit shy about putting myself out there. So that is actually something that I am still constantly trying to push myself to do today. As I got more comfortable with my content, I did start posting voiceovers to accompany my food videos. And at one point I did have somebody that I know reach out and send me one of my videos and say, is this you? Because they recognize my voice. And it was. So at that point I kind of just said, all right, I guess the cat's kind of out of the bag now, and we're gonna be talking about this to people now. So back to the actual content itself, like I said, I was making short form recipe and cooking videos, and that is still true to what I really enjoy creating today. When I first started out, I quite literally had no idea what I was doing. I don't have a background in like film or really anything creative like that. So it was a lot of trial and error and experimenting as time went on. One thing that I think is really cool is when I look back at the very first video that I posted versus the type of content that I'm producing today, the quality is strikingly different. And I'm not trying to say that I make the most professional content in the world. I don't feel like that's the case, but I do think it is something that's important to highlight because I do feel like a lot of creators get caught up in the numbers and the analytics of it all. How many followers do you have? What's your growth like? What's your engagement like? But the algorithm is so out of our control that if you focus on it too much, you truly are going to just have the worst time. So when I do think about my personal growth, I try to focus less on the numbers and more about the skills that I've picked up and just everything that I've learned over the past few years that have taken me to where I am today. So even if nobody ever watches this video, At least I can look back in a year or whatever and look at how far I've come. And I think that's pretty neat. And even though the numbers shouldn't be the main focus in my opinion, it would be silly to say that they don't matter at all, especially if you are using social media as a source of income or you want it to be a source of income. The analytics are, of course, going to play into that. So let's talk about that for a second. My very first year of posting on TikTok and cross-posting to Instagram Reels, I gained about 40,000 followers on Instagram and 80,000 followers on TikTok. It was pretty slow growth at first, but I did eventually have a couple of viral videos where I did see a decent amount of growth over that time. And then around the 1 year mark, things did start to slow down a little bit. I did, I guess, experience my first lull in growth. And I will be the first one to admit that that was incredibly demotivating. It was honestly a kick in the teeth. It got to a point where I said, you know, why am I even doing this? And from that, I ended up taking a break between 2022 and close to the end of 2023. And by take a break, I didn't stop posting content completely, but I definitely wasn't as hard pressed on being consistent. I think there were full months, I would go weeks without posting anything. And if I felt like filming and editing and uploading, then I would do that. And that was something that just worked for me at the time. And I didn't really see any growth during that time. In fact, unsurprisingly, I believe I lost followers during that time. But that was just something that I needed to do for my mental health. I just needed a break from it all. Then cut to fall of 2023. I'm not really sure what came over me during that time, but all of a sudden I just had the itch to start posting consistently again. I had a lot of ideas for new recipes and new content, and I don't know, I was just feeling motivated, and I dove into everything full force again. By full force, I was posting 2 to 3 times per week, and that is still the same cadence that I follow up to this day. So after posting 2 to 3 times per week from the end of 2023 until now, I gained around 100,000 followers on TikTok to get me up to 180K. And I gained over 200,000 followers on Instagram to get me over 290K. That's where I sit today. And that growth opened up a lot of opportunities for me to partner with brands. So overall, I'm really happy that I did take another crack at it. Also, if you ever do decide to take a break, at least from my experience, it was not the end of the world. I was able to take a really long break of not posting consistently and getting back on the horse and see growth again. I do think a lot of people maybe need a break or want a break, and they're worried that if they stop posting consistently, then all their hard work is going in the trash. And I'm just a testament to the fact that that is not necessarily the case. So that's all I'll say on that for now. I am really interested in making more videos about content creation and discussing topics around being a content creator. So if there's anything specific that you're interested in hearing me speak on, let me know in the comments. Now let's talk a little bit about what brought me here today, filming my very first long form YouTube video. I have to admit, it did take a lot for me to sit down and film this today. This is another example of something that is kind of outside of my comfort zone. I'm not well versed in this whole talking to video type of situation, and it's just not something that comes naturally to me. But there are a few reasons why I decided to take the leap and film my first YouTube video. So first, I've been consuming content on YouTube for years and years and years and years. I love especially kind of like these talking head commentary types of videos. I love people who talk about pop culture, of course, cooking and food, even ASMR. I love it all. So I thought it would just be fun to create some of the content that I would want to watch. And selfishly, I do think that this could be another great opportunity for me to grow just in terms of my confidence on camera, being able to articulate my thoughts, I think is a skill that I'd like to develop. I definitely have a lot of ideas of videos that I'd like to make. I already mentioned I'd love to talk more on being a content creator and even a new YouTuber, but also, as my username suggests, I am a foodie at heart, so I think it would be fun to make some longer form videos around cooking and recipes and that sort of thing as well. And if you made it this far in the video, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for just being here. Like, that is actually so nice of you. And yeah, if you'd like to see more from me, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.